Hi guys, Happy New Year again. It's a privilege to be with you for another year, and it's a privilege to know that you provide me with great support. Now, the first month of 2023 is gone, and we can only write home about unrest, protests, marchings, and resistance. That is very sad, but we are hopeful for the rest of the year. A young child watched the nurses marching on the streets in London, England, and asked innocently, and I quote, "Daddy, why do they hit our nurses?" She asked, "Daddy, why do they hit our nurses?" What other underlying messages from the statement of this or the question of this little baby? Three things came to my mind. She apparently cannot understand why grown-ups do not treat one another well. That's the first thing that came to my mind. Two, she perhaps had come to believe that good people like nurses should be loved and appreciated by all people. Perhaps she had spent some time in a hospital and the nurses were very sweet to her. Number three, but I think unknowingly she was asking, what is the government doing for frontline workers? Of course, in her vocabulary, she put it in an emotional way, innocently, of course. This is why I have captioned our short clinic for the new year. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares about our caregivers? Just reflect on that. Who cares about the people who give their lives every day to protect our lives? Contemplate on that. How much do we value our lifesavers everywhere? What came to me very forcefully is a thoughtful inquiry. Are governments elected by the people to serve the people fighting and killing the people? That's what came to my mind. Are governments elected by the people to serve the people actually fighting and killing the people? What precipitated the frontline workers' protests that the child commented on in the UK is the daily struggle today to survive. The daily struggle to survive. In fact, as we speak, consumers worldwide are crying, they are crying out about the rising cost of living. My research, I just brought 4 evidences. The supply chain theorists, those who uses the supply chain assumption to explain why prices are galloping. They say that the war in Ukraine, rising prices, higher interest rates, and the spread of the COVID in China weighs on the global economy. That is one of the explanations. And there is a lot of truth in that too. Additionally, I am of the view that the drivers of the market, that is big business, have power to alter market conditions to ensure desired profit levels. And of course, the final cost is always passed on to the consumers. So I agree that I'm of the explanation of the supply chain view. But it seems to me that there is another variable, that those who influence the market, they do that in such a way that they can maintain their high profit margins. And I'm afraid, irrespective of your perspective, the people, that is the consumers, believe that the skyrocketing food inflation is a vexing issue. They believe it's a vexing issue. And they believe that government with whom they signed a contract, as we said from the beginning, are obligated to protect them and must do something about it. You might say, what are the evidences of that? The evidence of that is right there all over the world. And I'm quoting, the sentiment is universal because the pain is widespread. In fact, towards the end of 2022, millions of people in Argentina, Chile, Cyprus, France, Greece, Guinea, Indonesia, Iran, Kenya, Lebanon, the Palestinian territories, Peru, Sri Lanka, Sudan, Tunisia, and that's just to name a few. They protested against high prices and the inability, that is the consumer's inability to buy basic food items. People are having problems to buy basic food items. In other words, people are trying to survive. So one may ask, what is the likely repercussion of the action of essential workers, like we saw in the UK, or essential workers or consumers everywhere that we have spoken about, who are taking action, who are protesting, who are marching because they believe that government is obligated to do something about the distress in time. Two quotations came to mind, one from Thomas Hobbes and one from Jesus Christ. In the Leviathan, if you read it, you can get the detail. Thomas Hobbes reminds all governments that the state is a contract between the people, between civil society and the market. The sovereign or the government owes its authority to the will of those it governs. That's very important. It owes its authority to the will of those it governs, and it's obligated to protect the interests of the governed by guaranteeing the civil peace and security. In other words, the state, or in modern days, the government exists to bring equilibrium, to bring reconciliation, to bring peace, to bring equality, fairness between the market and civil society, so that civil society does not take advantage of the market and the market does not take advantage of civil society. So the government, according to Thomas Hobbes, is a kind of an umpire, a regulator to bring everyone in that perfect relationship. Now, Jesus established the golden rule, which says, do to others whatever you would like them to do to you. It's a very popular saying, generally said by people in all the situations. Do to others whatever you would like them to do to you. And here I quoted Matthew chapter 7 and verse 12. In other words, if you want to be treated with kindness, Jesus is saying, be kind to others. You want to be treated with fairness? Be fair with others. You want to be treated with civility? Treat others with civility. So Hobbes reminds every democratic government leader that every frontline worker, like any other citizen, is a deciding vote on polling day. I want to repeat that. Every frontline worker, for that matter, in every citizen is a deciding vote on polling day. Jesus reminds all leaders, if you want just wages, you must be prepared to give just wages to those in your employment. Of course, that is what it will be. If governments want high salaries, they want perks and they want great allowances and they want good podiums when they travel, then those who are in the employment, and by extension, those who pay taxes, those who are responsible for the flow of revenue, government must treat them well. The government must treat them well. But what is the reality? Those who give most seem to suffer most. That is very sad. That came to my mind when I was preparing this video. That those who preserve life usually pay with their lives. Just reflect on that. Now that is very, very, is very, very fearful. And check it out. Those who preserve life usually pay with their lives. Guys, we are to care for them and their well-being and to treat them as God treats us, with love, care, and compassion. We are instructed to care for all of the people of the earth out of a spirit of love, care, and mercy. That very same love, care, and mercy that God shows to us every day, every hour, every minute, every second, every moment. That's who he is. And we never end our clinic without reminding ourselves of the two principles that help us make wise decisions and treat people as people, treat people well. The two principles that help us make decisions that make us happy. The first one is from William Penn. Wrong is wrong, even if everyone is doing it. Right is right, even if no one is doing it. The second one says, truth is truth, even if no one believes it. And a lie is a lie, even if everyone believes it. And we always end with our word to the wise. Our word to the wise comes from the Apostle Paul. And I'm quoting Philippians chapter 2 and verse 4. It's a very beautiful book to read, the book of Philippians. Paul says, do not merely look out for your personal interests, but also for the interests of others. This is powerful. Do not merely look out for your own personal interests, but also for the interests of others. For more information, please visit my website, www.goadrians.com. Please look for a new video posted on my YouTube channel, on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter on the first day of each month. Please connect with me. Connect with me via mobile or WhatsApp 869-668-9752 or via email peter@goadrians.com. peter@goadrians.com. Thank you. Thank you for viewing. Thank you because you always spend time with me. Please subscribe. I always ask you to subscribe and like my video. Hey, love never fails. Love never fails.